Some years ago, we started a teen track here at CBST, and if you look at page 10 of the program, Mia, the Rothstein, and by the way, a huge thank you to Mia Rothstein and Eliza Schwartz, who are running the whole teen track program this year, and going to DC with the group of teens, Cantor Rosen, Rabbi Werber, and myself. So we had the right kind of ratio of 5 chaperones to 10 teens. It's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing. But so if you look at page 10, you see these are 2 other generations of Litaken programs of teen track. Our teen track is a 3-year cycle, and you can see the first one in 2017, and then the last one was in 2020, and Jennifer Kleinbaum was on that trip with us, and we left for New York for DC on February 28th of 2020. Jennifer thought she was so clever because she bought everybody a little jar of hand cleaner, and we thought, okay. And then we spent 4 days in a hotel with 400 other teens. And then, of course, COVID happened. But this trip we took, which was last Friday to Monday, is part of the Religious Action Center's program, which I actually ran and created the current version of it, so to speak, when I worked at the RAC from 1990 to 92. So it was totally trippy for me on this last year of serving as senior rabbi to be there at a program I had created and I had run, and to see it had gone into this entirely exciting 283 Jewish teens were together for those 4 days, visited 90 offices of elected officials to deliver the message. And guess what? Every elected official wants to meet with these kids. Why? Because Jews vote at a higher rate than any other individual group in the United States, and they know these teens, while they don't vote now, they're going to vote very soon. And it's from Friday until Monday morning when the teens get dressed in their nicest clothes and go up to Capitol Hill and walk around the Capitol building. Let's see a few photos. Jason, do you have those photos? Can we show them? Here are some photos just to give you an image. This is in Randy's office at the AFT. Randy was so great and hosted us, the whole group, in her office, and we had dinner at the AFT along with Rachel Weiss's synagogue from Evanston and their 10 kids. So these are let's go through the pictures so you get to see some of the images from the weekend. This is in the Capitol building. This is the night. This is when we were learning and practicing. The kids had to go to briefing sessions, study about the issue. There's some of our kids up there doing a role play simulation to learn how to do this. And I think, is that the Holocaust Museum? Yeah. So we went to the Holocaust Museum on Shabbat afternoon. And here are the kids preparing their speeches and starting to integrate their material. And this is in Capitol Hill in the Senate building, I think. I'm not sure, I don't remember. This is in Senator Gillibrand's office, waiting for that to begin. And there's Oliver already at Jerry Nadler's office. And notice Jerry Nadler has a rainbow flag outside of his office. And there in Jerry Nadler's office, he has all of those subway signs. Love that. Keep going. We're just going to look at these. Is that it? Okay, great. So that's so you get a sense of some of what it felt like and looked like. And on Sunday evening, the kids were given a set amount of time in which they had to write their speeches after studying Jewish sources on them, studying what bills were being introduced related to those topics. They had about 15 topics they could choose from, and then they had to focus and write based on briefing papers and sessions that they learned more about the topics and the Jewish material, and a lot of sessions teaching the kids what does it mean to engage with your elected officials and how to do it. So, all of that is to say, extraordinary, except here I am talking about it. What we want to do is hear from the kids. But I want to say one thing before we do, which is for me, and I said it was so moving given that my role in this program is so deep and so long-standing. Really what my job was on this trip was to train our next generation of young clergy. There were multiple levels of young people that are going through a process right now. And I felt it was my deep responsibility to make sure Mia and Eliza, who was there, but our young clergy who are now going to be real leaders in CBST in a way that they haven't been demanded of them. So Cantor Rosen and Rabbi Werber were really my focus for those 4 days. And really to help them learn how to do a program like this and how to lead and teach and be clergy to teens. And in this particular program, which has extremely complicated logistics. So without further ado, we're going to start by singing a song which the kids I know are going to be so excited about. What page is it on in here?
Let's see. It should be.
It's on page 5, written by Ilana Arian, who is often a featured musician here at CBST. So we're going to start with this, and then we're going to move into hearing from the kids. This was sung a lot on the weekend.
I will open my eyes. I will not look away. I will give this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world.
And now I'd like to invite Rosie Koppelman and Asher Frank Lerner to give their talk, which was offered to Representative Daniel Goldman's office on the issue of reproductive rights.
Hi, my name is Rosie Koppelman, and I'm from Congregation Beit Simchat Torah in Manhattan. This is Asher Frank Lerner. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with us today. We're in Washington, D.C. with hundreds of other teens from the Reformed Jewish movement to participate in the L'Takain seminar. Today, we would like to speak to you about reproductive rights and the Women's Health Protection Act.
Abortion was legalized on this day in 1973 after the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case, but even then there were issues. Women weren't guaranteed access to getting an abortion, and factors such as income, insurance, and geography all affected a woman's right to get an abortion. Ever since then, state legislators have been chipping away at abortion access, and over 1,500 restrictions have been passed, including over 100 passed in 2021 alone. And in June of 2022, the Supreme Court decided in the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization to overturn Roe v. Wade, leaving abortion rights up to the states. A total of 25 states have restricted or banned abortion. A third of the total U.S. population of women of a reproductive age are living in the states where abortion is either unavailable or severely restricted. For example, in Texas, there are 7 million women, including 3 million who are of reproductive age, where abortion is now completely banned within very limited exceptions. And the average one-way driving distance to the nearest clinic that performs abortions at 20 weeks is 250 miles away. Abortion is just one example of reproductive health care that continues to be restricted across the nation.
Our Jewish tradition instills in us the importance of kavod habriot, or respect for individual dignity. The Hyde Amendment, which restricts health care benefits to be used for abortions, perpetuates inequality in reproductive health care and violates this core value by making abortion only accessible to the few who can afford it out of pocket. Another Jewish value is that life is sacred, and thus the life of the pregnant person is placed above the potential for life of a fetus. We are told, if a woman's labor becomes life-threatening, the one to be born is dismembered in her abdomen, for her life comes before the life of the fetus. Mishnah Oholot 7:6. The Torah also distinguishes between the value of the life of the pregnant person and the life of the fetus. In Exodus, we are told if someone causes a pregnant person to miscarry by pushing her, the person must pay a fine, while if the push causes the woman herself to die, the penalty shall be life for life. Exodus 21:22-24. The differing punishments between the life of the fetus versus that of the mother give more value to that of the mother. Because of these Jewish values, the Reform movement believes that people need to have the right to choose if, how, and when to have a child. As a woman in America, reproductive rights impact me directly. For decades, we have been sheltered by Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion. But as of 2022, we now have to live in fear of what could happen if we accidentally become pregnant, especially through sexual assault. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, there were many protests for abortion to be legalized again, and bright green posters were put up all around the neighborhood, showing how important this issue was to everyone. But time moves on, and the green posters started to wear away. The protests became less and less frequent until there were none. But so many women of reproductive age in the U.S. live in states in which abortion is either unavailable or severely restricted, and we need to take action. These people still matter, no matter how few posters are hanging in the city.
The Women's Health Protection Act will establish a statutory right for healthcare providers to provide and for their patients to receive abortion free from medically unnecessary restrictions, limitations, and bans that delay or obstruct to abortion. It would codify the protections of Roe v. Wade, which is needed to ensure that women have control over their bodies that they are entitled to.
We want to thank the Congressman for co-sponsoring the Women's Health Protection Act. Thank you again for speaking with us. We really appreciate your time.
Amazing. And you could see on page 9 of your program the list of all the groups. And in this case, Juliet was also one of the 3 who were part of this group but couldn't be here tonight. And so Rosie and Asher read her words, but it was the 3 of them. So thank you. And now, Dahlia Hirschman and Leo Cossi lobbied Representative Adriano Espaillat from northern Manhattan on immigration reform.
Hi, I'm Dahlia Hirschman.
And I'm Leo Cossi. We're from Congregation of Beit Simchat Torah from New York City. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with us today. We're here with lots of other teens from the Reformed Jewish movement to participate in the Let Talkein seminar, an intensive 4-day program focused on Jewish values and social justice sponsored by the Religious Action Center, the RAC.
The issue we would like to talk about with you today is immigration. It's important for the U.S. to be open and hospitable to immigrants who need protection and housing when they come to America. These immigrants might have come from somewhere with conflicts. Most people in America are only here because generations in their family from earlier have immigrated here, which is why the USA is known as a melting pot. The melting pot refers to different cultures and ethnicities just all coming together and becoming a part of this one place, USA. Our country being known for this means we need to be able to accept immigrants coming from different countries, cultures, and ethnicities. The USA also has a reputation as land of the free, which is why so many immigrants seek safety or a new life in America. We can't reject protecting so many people who need to be in this country for various different reasons.
From the book of Leviticus, when a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love them as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. The Torah repeats this commandment at least 36 times in different ways, more than any other commandment in Judaism. The Jewish people fled from Egypt in Exodus, and the safety of immigrants and refugees remains a core value in our religion. We believe that all immigrants, no matter where they are from, deserve the right to live in a place where they are not under threat of violence and death. The Jewish people have a long and tragic history of immigration and forced diaspora, from the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans to having to flee from Hitler in 1930s Europe. In fact, the book of Genesis shows God saying to Abraham, "Go forth from your native land and from your father's house to the land that I will show you."
Both of our grandparents and ancestors have immigrated to America during rough times in their countries. For me, my grandpa escaped Yugoslavia when he was 9 and had a long journey to the U.S. The rest of his 27 family members that were not able to escape got killed in the Holocaust. If my grandpa and his mother weren't able to escape, they would have been killed.
Many of my family members lived in Romania prior to the Holocaust, but because of strict U.S. immigration laws, they couldn't leave, and their entire village was killed during World War II. This brings the fact of the importance of immigration to people who are facing horrible situations in their own country and need to have a place where they feel protected and safe.
Congressman Espaillat, we know that you immigrated to America from the Dominican Republic, and so we assume this issue is very personal to you too.
We would highly support your decision to vote in favor of the American Dream and Promise Act, and as residents of Kingsbridge, Bronx, hope that you continue to support future laws protecting the rights of immigrants in our country formed by immigrants.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. We urge you to co-sponsor the American Dream and Promise Act and support providing permanent protections to all immigrant youth.
And Shirley Hoffman-Engel was part of your group, and glad that you read those words also, right? What? What? Oh, she had a different topic. What did Shirley talk about? Yes, Shirley spoke about Israel. That's right. Sorry about that. So now we have our last one for tonight. I'm delighted that Oliver Podosinsky-Mertzel will offer his speech, which he gave to Representative Jerry Nadler's office about LGBTQ protections. Oliver?
My name is Oliver Mertzel, and I'm from Congregation Beit Simchat Torah in New York City. I and hundreds of other teens are in Washington with the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me today. I would like to discuss these issues of LGBTQ+ rights. This issue is personal to me. I have two moms whose wedding I attended on July 24th, 2011, the day New York's Marriage Equality Act went into effect. I also grew up going to Congregation Beit Simchat Torah, the largest LGBTQ synagogue in the U.S. Furthermore, as a transgender teenager, a uniform federal law protecting LGBTQ+ people would affect me personally. I've heard many stories about harassment of LGBTQ+ people, and I deserve the ability to not have to live in fear that something like that will happen to me or my family. Despite progress made in the more than 50 years since the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to erase illegal discrimination in the U.S., the LGBTQ+ community still faces discrimination in many areas of daily life. There is no federal law that explicitly and consistently protects against discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in public accommodations, credit, education, federally funded programs, and jury service. In a 2020 study by the Center for American Progress, 51% of LGBTQ respondents said they experienced harassment or discrimination at a place of public accommodation, such as a restaurant, retail store, hotel, or theater. According to the 2022 FBI hate crime statistics, there were 1,947 hate crime incidents motivated by sexual orientation bias in 2022. There were 469 incidents based on gender identity bias, 338 of which were anti-transgender, and 131 of which were anti-gender nonconforming. The need for comprehensive protections for the LGBTQ+ community is clear. In 2020, 1 in 3 LGBTQ Americans reported having experienced discrimination, including more than 3 in 5 transgender Americans. This issue is also significant to me as a Jew. Judaism teaches that all human beings are created b'tselem Elohim, in the divine image, and deserve dignity and respect regardless of their sexual orientation and gender identity. As it says in Genesis, and God created humans in God's own image, in the image of God, God created them. The Jewish value of acceptance for all, including those who are different from us, is constantly stressed, as we are all created b'tselem Elohim, and we all deserve fair and equitable treatment. Judaism teaches love, respect, and the right of all to live with dignity. The Equality Act will address LGBTQ+ discrimination in employment,
housing, credit, education, public accommodations, federally funded programs, and jury selection by amending existing civil rights to include protections based on sexual orientation and gender identity, while significantly reducing the amount of discrimination LGBTQ+ people face. The Equality Act will provide an avenue for recourse for victims of discrimination. This bill will provide the same protections to LGBTQ+ people that are provided to other protected classes under federal law. While it will not completely end LGBTQ+ discrimination, it's an extremely important first step. I thank the representative for co-sponsoring the Equality Act, demonstrating their commitment to protecting LGBTQ+ Americans against discrimination. Thank you again for speaking to me. I really appreciate your time.
Okay, could all the kids stand who are here? Just all the kids stand. Dahlia, Leo, Asher, stand. Rosie, stand. Can we give a round of applause to everybody?